Good evening. I'm going to have to keep this short. I've got some longer ones, and they're going to be cost me $300 to upload until I get my wireless, which hasn't come yet until Monday now, thanks to the weather. As the title indicates, this is about Governor Inslee's comments about the TMX pipeline. I may edit the. I was just trying to come up with something that would be descriptive of what I want to have in it. The real politic of the TMX pipeline that Monsieur Trudeau, I call him Pierre Jr. He likes to be a little dictator, like his big daddy, his daddy, which you all loved so much, didn't we? I did. I was suckered too, at his wit, his funniness. But he was moody when he called out the War Measures Act and imposed martial law, and he derided half of us, of Anglo Canada, who's not English, not my friend. Well, I have some English in me, but not my end of the country English. You know, an English man doesn't have a culture. I'm going to give it one. Yeah, okay. What? Well, you have never been out here, Pierre. What do you know? What do you know? You know, same with Justin. What does he know? He's been a bouncer. He's been a school teacher, a bouncer at Whistler, a school teacher on the west side. You know, and he knows nothing about. No respect for British Columbians at all. He's a westbound brat. But aside from that, Jay Inslee is a very excellent governor of Washington. I wish we had politicians of his caliber in Canada. Because of our parliamentary system, we don't. And the thing that I noted about it was my friend Sage Birchwater's article, actually in the Williams Lake Tribune. Surprised me that it would be in that paper. Never mind. Sage is an excellent writer. His books are well worth looking at, particularly Chiwade and Chilcotin Chronicles. Good writer, understands the political situation, but what people don't really get is that what Inslee was doing by saying that he's keeping a close eye on the TMX expansion project because it's of immediate strategic interest to the United States. So I'll have to keep this short, and we'll get back to this later. Once I'll get to tomorrow, I'll upload some longer stuff explaining the background of the Dominion of Canada is actually the Empire of Canada. Canada meaning Ontario and Quebec. It's a name that's been extended from the Atlantic to the Pacific. It's Canadian imperialism we're talking about, although in this case it does involve the follies of the provincial government, which is also a folly and a complete farce. Because there are no Crown treaties in British Columbia, the Crown does not have any sovereignty here. None at all. Well, not 85% of it, most of it west of the Rockies. Yeah, they don't have any right to be here at all. Never mind 1,000 Mounties. Was it only that many? How many troops? Where were they from? Which command? Well, of course, the paper's going to tell you? No, of course not. So Mr. Trudeau and Ms. Notley, you know, they're going, well, we're going to build this, and the TMX thing, we'll show them we mean business by using troops and Mounties to arrest 14 people on a bridge, defending a land, chieftaincy, Unistoten, and the Gitiman leader was there. The Gitiman is part of the Wet'suwet'en Confederacy, the hereditary chiefs of the Wet'suwet'en are a component part of that confederacy. And the Unistoten are just on the boundary, and they came to all the in the Wet'suwet'en and the other Daca, a certain group of peoples, are all in solidarity with them. And all people in British Columbia are horrified to see troops and Mounties. Some of the ones who have the pipeline built, oh, we don't care who gets shot or injured. Oh, they're just native girls anyway. What the hell? Okay, great. That shows you the attitude towards the First Nations. Because reconciliation, blah, 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 reconciliation. Partnership. Oh, yeah, Mr. Trudeau, you sure handled that microphone well like Mr. Donahue does. Did you straighten your tie, please? Go to the weight room and put some weight on, goddammit, you skinny rat. Anyways, the problem is that what I see very clearly, because I know geopolitics, that Washington State and, of course, the U.S. military, people don't realize that the Puget Sound military complex, Bremerton Naval Shipyards, SeaTac Boeing Field, Everett aircraft plants, it goes down the list. Fort Lewis, big Marine base, goes down the list. SeaTac, this is a major, this is more military, Bangor Naval Base, submarine base. This is more military than all of Canada put together. What's Mr. Trudeau going to do? He's going to do a violent confrontation to arrest people and provoke violence, to build a pipeline that does not benefit the United States. In fact, it will triple Washington State's rates for its refineries. And why? Why? To try and curry favor with China. We don't even really want it anymore. I mean, the fossil fuel market is dying. When people talk about building bridges, the Morrissey Bridge will take 30 years to build. For what vehicles? Are we going to be electric vehicles by then, Mr. Horgan? Oh, still doing carbon emissions? Where are those bridges going to be? Are they going to be underwater? I don't understand what you're talking about doing. Why do we keep on building for a future that's not there? But aside from that, Mr. Inslee is very kind of politely warning Canada that, hey, look, You threatened to cut it off their fuel supply once. And thanks to the military reserves, he was meaning the military. We have reserves, he said. He meant the militaries. Of course they do. And they get their Alaska stuff. They get stuff up from California by tanker, but the pipeline they have is the one from Alberta, that 99% of which goes to Washington State and Oregon. And the other 1% that leaves the port also goes to Oregon or somewhere like that. Like, just stupidity. Canadians live in this bubble where they think, well, the boundaries are permanent. It doesn't matter what we do. We're the crown and we can do it. No, you're not the crown, not in this province. No, you're not. No, you're not. Nor are you, Mr. Horgan and Mr. We have the speaker scandal with the Sergeant at Arms, blah, 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 blah. We have an inquiry, what went on. We know what went on. Greece, corruption. And Wilkinson, the Liberal leader, doesn't surprise me. He's connected to it too. And are the media talking about that anymore? No, of course they're not. We don't have a media that gets into things. Same as with Sweden. You don't hear anything about what happened 2 weeks ago now, except it's over. Little bleats now and then from the poor Frida Houston, who saw her land immediately cut and raped again, like she had been, I think, forgive me for, she hadn't been, but I believe she was a residential school survivor, so she probably was too. Oh, this was a long time ago. The Indians have to get over it. Yeah, bullies always say that, Canada. And I know, I've had it in my own family. Oh, you should grow up and get over it. Yeah, how do you get over it? How do you get over it, Mr. Trudeau? What do you have to get over? Being bounced on Fidel's knee, having your granddaddy got married, your mom got married to your dad as a dynastic marriage for Macmillan Bloedel and the Social Credit Party to cut all of the trees in British Columbia in 1976. And their father was prepared to back up Bill Bennett with U.S. Marines on the border in the general strike of 1983. Oh, yeah? Okay, well, this time, this is my word on that. This time I say, Governor Inslee, isn't that farce, sir? I really like you a lot, and I'd rather have you as a friendly governor than as an unfriendly governor. You see, Mr. Trudeau and Ms. Notley, that what he is trying to do is warn you that the U.S. military has noticed that you threatened to cut off their supplies, and if you hadn't noticed that the Mung arrest has to do with the geopolitics of the Monroe Doctrine, for those who know what that is, I don't have to explain it. For those who are good, you should go look it up. But it means that the U.S. doesn't like having foreign powers getting large footprints of things. They put up with it in other countries, like China's been active in Panama and Peru and stuff, but they're getting a little too strong in Canada. Now, I happen to have good Chinese friends, both from Taiwan, Singapore, from all over the Sinosphere, all the Chinese world, including a couple of really good friends from Beijing now. But a lot of them came here for free and proper democracy, which Canada is not. British Columbia is not. A lot of the new people here were upset about the referendum. A lot of the young people of all colors and backgrounds were upset that they weren't given a fair chance to vote, nor was there any effort. Oh, they could have gone to BC Services. Yeah, tried to call that with somebody working up in the graveyards or banging nails on a roof 12 hours a day for non-union pay. All the union guys, yeah, well, it was all a scam to keep the Greens from winning. So I've asked the Green Party, I've left them a message today, would you please walk out of the legislature? You've been scammed. The Wet'suwet'en thing is a travesty. A travesty. The Crown has no rights in British Columbia. Now, it just so happens that Mr. Harper signed a cute little deal with Mr. Bush, which I think might prove quite useful, because it means that the U.S. can now send troops into Canada for any reason, at any time, and any number, for any reason that it wants to, without calling Ottawa first. So I suggest they do that. And, I talk fastest around the First Nations people, the Indigenous people, and they go, look, Indigenous sovereignty, and people get jobs instead of pipelines. We build highways and trains north. Americans have to come north in the next 10, 20 years. You just watch this summer what happens in California and Oregon and the mountain states. People are going to be wanting getting out of there. It's going to get hotter every year. The storms are going to get worse in the Midwest. The oceans are coming up faster than expected. Why are we even talking about building bridges like the Massey Bridge or whatever? And, we're going to do advanced forestry shipping on the coast. And Norway's building like high-speed electric ferries, electric aircraft. What are we doing? Well, we have to ask Canada. Well, that'll have to be built in Canada. We have to have committee meetings on it. We'll probably be allocated to, let's see, who paid the most money to which riding. That's how things work in Canada. It does in the States, too, but in the States you've got the governor faces the legislature, two houses, Senate and legislature, State Senate and legislature. You can even elect judges. You can even elect DAs. Service? Do we get to elect the Mounties? I don't think so. No, we don't. Of course not. I'm just being, what the hell? We're talking about, we have such a great country, the best country on earth, the best place on earth is BC. No, it's not. Anybody who's been to Istanbul or Bangkok or any half decent city, like even Sydney. Sydney's great. No, no, Vancouver is not the best place on the planet, especially not with that rain and the shitty ass people. But it's this thing, the tug of forelock, that everything is, oh, we got to be with the crown and stability and constant growth. Why? No, there's no good reason. So this is what I say. I'm talking both to the people of what is the colony of British Columbia still that has been co-opted by the Crown of Canada, which has nor does the Crown of British Columbia have any more authority to be anywhere outside the South Island Treaties, Fort Rupert, where's the other one? One other Douglas Treaty, the Northeastern Treaties and Treaty 6, I think it is, and the new ones, the Nisga'a, the Sims, and stuff like that. Sechelt and Tsawwassen are now municipal. That's fine. But there's some will never that are sovereign and consider themselves sovereign. Slatlam I know are. Definitely are, they consider themselves that they're sovereign. You know, as do the New Hawk. I'm sure various of the Klapmic here where I'm in the Thompson, Fraser Canyon area. You know, this is sovereign. We are all sovereign. We can all vote to leave Canada without Canada being able to say diddly squat. We can also tell China that the FIPA does not apply here. Especially we are not sovereign. The treaty that Harper signed only applies on crown lands. What crown lands? Oh, we gave them the forest industry, did we? Oh, how did that happen? Well, Greece between the Prime Minister's grandfather and the Prime Minister's father in the form of the hand of Margaret Trudeau. It was a dynastic marriage, and it involved the desecration of British Columbia on a large scale. So Monsieur Trudeau, both junior and younger, were not nice guys. Mr. Harper was worse, of course. And they're all lackeys. They're all lackeys for the big companies. Now, the problem thing in the U.S. is that we have the Americans can have referendum to recall without the politicians controlling what's going on, like Horgan just did. And like Mr. Trudeau says, oh, I know I promised electoral reform, but I don't think you're ready for it. I think I refer this system either. You know what, Pierre Jr., why don't you just stay in Westmount? Why do you not ever come back to BC? I saw you. Did you notice? No, you didn't, because you were so involved in being platitudinous to those two outraged First Nations women in Kamloops that you didn't notice the line of young Native men watching you from the back row of the bleachers on the side. I watched them intently. They watched you with hatred. And why? Because they're missing moms and dads and cousins and sisters. They're missing people. And some of their friends have committed suicide. That's why, Mr. Trudeau. How many of your friends have committed suicide? I've had one, at least one. But that was a different matter. He wasn't First Nations. But these people have lost him. And you want to talk about more pipelines and then send in troops who have no right to be there. And the media go like, well, this is all just to get a good project going. Good for you, John Horgan. Hey, Horgan won the Green Party, beat the Green Party in Nanaimo. That was no surprise to me because I knew about the Green Party in Nanaimo. It was all the sandbagging back in 1983. Anyways, I'm just not angry. I get angry, please. I'm trying to talk to Jay Inslee and be quiet about what goes on in Canada that angers me. But I really think our best solution right now is that we have a plebiscite, start the motion for a plebiscite to take down the Berlin Wall of the Northwest, the 49th parallel across Whatcom County, the Lower Mainland. Take down the gates inside that say, may these gates never be closed. No, let's just take them down forever. Pay the damn thing. It's pretty. Leave the park open. You know, we'll still need a fruit check, fruit stand check, and we'll still have a weapons check because I see a very perfect point in having the Second Amendment so that people in the Chilcotin can defend themselves with a well-organized militia. Why not, given what was happening? Considering what Trudeau was preparing for the Secwepemc territory, yes, why not a well-organized militia? Why can't Burnaby have one? Why can't Vancouver and Burnaby be a cantonal government system like Zurich and Basel and Oaxaca? The rest of the world is moving forward, and Canada's going, well, we have this parliamentary system, stability, yeah. It's all about the banks. Stability is all about keeping things the way they are, so the exploitation and the wealth can keep on getting wealth. There is no upward social mobility in Canada. To do that, you have to leave and become famous or go do it somewhere else. We are still a colony, the most loyal colony, because the old order prevails, the British Ancien version of the Ancien regime. The rich are getting richer, and anybody who lives in the Lower Mainland knows that anybody else is in quicksand. And the poor sleep in the rain while the rich live upstairs and mock them and go, look at those junkies down there. Oh, it's terrible. Junkies are dying. What are we going to do? Should we donate money to the food bank? Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. And then we have this scandal in the legislature with the Speaker's office, and the Speaker's dignity is being challenged. Well, I'll tell you what dignity? What dignity does the Speaker's office have when they only have treaties on 15% of British Columbia? Why is there a British flag? Why is there a British crown on the flag? Somebody tell me that. Why does the flag of Canada fly here at all? Because of the wars, and because of Dieppe, because of Vimy. Really? Really? What does that have to do with anything here? What does anything in Ottawa River have to do with anything here? If you don't understand this, and we don't have representation, this is a taxation without representation issue, just like it was for the foundation in the United States. Yes, we have a lot of taxation. Of course, we have the equalization payments, I understand. If BC pays kicks in, so does Alberta, to support the poorer provinces. And Jane Jacobs, the economist, should have been listened to about that. Anybody who's never read The Wealth of Cities or her essay, Cities and the Wealth of Nations, or the other way around, yeah, it's the kind of economics that the economic schools won't teach because it dismantles all the Adam Smithian version of economics. It dismantles the whole notion that export and international trade is a good thing. No, localized development of export products by import replacement versus export replacement. But no, we don't study that. We don't study about deficits and labor rates, and we got to worry about financing things through private credit through the banks. It's all bullshit. Anyways, not that anything's going to be better from joining the states immediately, and it won't happen right away. We have to have, like the French just did, assembly of assemblies, to people in each area get together their best people. We're going to come out. No politicians, no lawyers, no bankers, just like in Iceland. Yes. Yes. No lawyers. How does that sound? Even better yet, how about no journalists? Yes. How about that, huh? Yeah, no David Beers. No Charlie Smith, also. Never mind Von Palmer. The guys, whether they're with the Tyee or the Straight or the NatPo papers or the Globe and Mail, they're all journalists. They work for the lie machine. So we want to have free country, then we have to have free elections. And free elections will only happen if the people constitute those elections. And yes, if the sovereignty is to guarantee sovereignty for everywhere, and okay, now that we voted on that, here's the corridors for I-5 and I-15 through the Trents, that one. 25 through Alberta. Why not Alberta too? Why not Saskatchewan? And Lakehead. To hell with Canada. The Imperial Canada. I'm done with it. So I'm going to lend this. You see where I'm going. I just wanted to make this so it's shorter. And I had it on YouTube live. Because right now I'd have ordered, if I upload 3 gigabytes right now, it's going to cost me $300 until my wireless comes. And this probably now cost me, I don't know, $10 for 100 megabytes. I probably paid $50 for this already. So donations, please. I will be doing this again. I'm going to have to do that because I'm just doing this out of the fire in my heart. Liberty, justice, liberty, equality, fraternity, social justice, peace, freedom and liberty from the 49th parallel to the Beaufort Sea. Let's let the U.S. flag do what it has always wanted to do. Canada does not deserve the West for the way that it's been treated. They can go get their own damn port. Or they can pay us a hefty fee. I'm done with it. Now, I have no money, no status. I'm on disability. You know, I'm on disability, but fine. But I couldn't make any money here because people don't want to hire anybody who knows as much as I do. Why? Because I'm against things like cutting trees. Mines. I'm working in stockbroking. What? You know, yeah, sure, could have did data for years. But, we'll keep you clerical. We don't want to promote you. And shit like that. They just don't want to let you. I'm just summarizing it. It's more than that. But I mean, this is not a place for creative people. That's why creative people move to LA or New York. And you start naming the artists and actors. Luckily, we do have a good hotbed of people here in the Lower Mainland, but no Hollywood North concept got stolen by Toronto. Toronto is a vampire on the rest of the country. It is a vampire. And CPR is no better. Montreal just has more style. Montreal CPR. Monsieur Trudeau is Montreal. His papa was Montreal. And, you know, Monsieur Trudeau, I could swear at you in French, quite profusely, you know. And for that kind of French and the other kind of French and about 6 other languages, you are not the pretty boy, nice guy that you seem to be. Oh, he's so nice and he has that lisp, he's so feminine. He's such a man, feminist. No, he's not a feminist. No feminist would be talking over women. A man's playing, blah, 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 blah. This woman is outraged, screaming at him, was going, you know, it just ignored him in that meeting in Kamloops. Or he ignored them. He was being a dick. And in the meantime, woman had been arrested. Hereditary chiefdoms of thousands of year old, her chieftaincies, like older than Wessex, older than the Duchy of Burgundy, in fact, older than the patricians of Rome. And what was this fop doing with his pretty hair, playing like Donahue and going, Platitude, 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 platitude. Yeah, yeah. So take down the Justin. Take down Justin. Take him down off the pedestal. He's a piece of trash. He's worse than Trump. Okay, I'm done except for chanting Macron, Demison, Trudeau, Demison, Trudeau, Trudeau. Baswa. I don't know. I was trying to say it. Chinook Jagger. Mosh. Oh, get out of here. Right? We don't need the crown anymore. The crown is proved futile, and the crown was the thing of the legislature. What? Oh, what can we do? It's oh, we keep on doing. You know what? We get rid of that whole system. We get the system that says, hey, you get to choose your representatives, and they have to talk to you at town halls. You can recall them, and they're going to go to Washington, and the Senate, both state and legislature, and the federal Senate and Congress. Even if it's slow, you can deal with the recalcitrant rogue executive. You can't do that in Canada, where the executive even appoints the judges and hires the police. So we do not live in a free country. This is a police state. I know, because every time I come back from another country where I recognize democracy, even the dictatorships don't ask you anything like, where you been? What do you do? Well, why did you do that? Where'd the money come from? And why did your sister do this? And where'd the money come from? And why did you go? What's in your trunk? You don't get that when you come back into Thailand as a Thai citizen, vice versa, and everywhere else in the world except Canada. Yeah, it's been a police state for a long time, and people are blind to thinking it's the best place on earth. It sickens me. So, Governor Inslee, hear me, and I'm just, actually, you already know what I'm saying. Trudeau, Notley, wisen up. Do you realize what you've done? Do you think the TMX is going to get built with Washington State, implicitly the U.S. military behind it, and you don't think that the U.S. military isn't noticing this problem? Never mind the 5G network next to all that advanced high tech that they have. They don't want 5G anywhere near themselves, especially a place like that, or Fort Drum or Fort Messina, which are on the Canadian border. And let's not get started on how Fort Drum got started. War Plan Red is how it got started. Messina too, I'm not sure. Anyways, the reality of Canada is it lives its own bubble, and things on its outer edges. It can do what it wants. I've got the boundary. I'll do what I want. I'll send in troops. I'm going to build this thing, whether people of Lower Mainland don't like it or not. We'll tell you what, you're not just dealing with the Lower Mainland. Stupid Canadians. Stupid people on the other side of the Great Lakes. Oh, you're stupid. Same with you Albertans. You're dealing with the U.S. military when you talk about dealing with what? Puget Sound? What's that? Yeah, well, that's right next to the TMX, and you want to have some violence there? Well, I'll tell you what. I welcome in the U.S. Marines. Down the halls of Montezuma. I will, and I've been a Canadian, quote, patriot all my life. Blinded by the Queen, blinded by the light, thinking that we had a better way, because we were told we had a better way. We don't. And there's no reason at all that people shouldn't be able to drive between Vancouver and Seattle. They'll drive between, I don't know, Frankfurt and whatever's across the line in France. Actually, Mannheim and Strasbourg are right by each other. Heidelberg and Strasbourg. You know, and this is the norm in Europe. When you drive from one country to the other, you just keep on driving. Why not here? Well, we don't have free trade in people, do we? No, only in money and capital and investment. Oh, everybody else are slaves. If you don't know you're a slave, wake up and look at your rent bill and your phone bill and how much things cost here versus how much it costs south of the line. So yeah, take down the line, take down the border Berlin Wall, take down the flag of Canada, take down the British Columbia. No, take the British Columbia flag and rip the Union Jack off it, and that stupid crown that does not have any right to wave here. I could go on. I don't want to make this too long. I've already spent money doing this. I did it on YouTube because the one on Facebook I have to re-upload. And one I made clean I have to upload tomorrow. So I have to take it somewhere to upload. I also found out that my size 15 work boots, because of my injuries this last year, I did get shorter. I'm an inch and a half shorter now after hip replacement. I was already shorter before that. But the boots are larger. My feet are larger now, and they don't fit. My 15s don't fit in the size 15. So do I need 16s now? Well, I'm going to find those in Nordstrom's in Seattle before I find them in Vancouver, that's for sure. And I don't want to have to go to Seattle and just to buy a jug of milk. Why should we have to wait 3 hours to do a proctoscope and they tear apart the scar? You have your blah, blah, blah. You know what? They have good marijuana laws in Washington too, right? So I nominate the name Coeur d'Alene Union or Pacific Union, Free Pacific Union, or Free Pacifica, something like that as the name of the state. A confederacy first, under U.S. protection while we debate our nature. but under U.S. protection, and just say, Canada, we're tired of it. And the First Nations say, look, in all our sovereign territories, we're going to hold a plebiscite, and all the people who live in those territories are welcome to vote in it. And the people who still want to believe in the Crown and pay their taxes down to Victoria to go off to Ottawa instead of paying them locally to be spent locally, that's the Swiss system. That's going to be the French system. That's the Oaxacan system. And we could make a model for the United States of how it could be in all the other states. So Ocasio-Cortez, she's a great lady. I wouldn't mind voting for her for president. I think she's going to stay in Congress, maybe. But, you know, all the new generation of Americans, politicians that have come out thanks to Mr. Bernie Sanders, and a gentleman like Jesse Fincher, who inspires me to do this despite my teeth. Thanks, Jess. You people have all inspired me, including some people here, just athletes and others who just do personal vlogs and said, I'm not ashamed of nothing anymore. I'm not ashamed of saying that I want to be a Canadian, I want to be an American. I got attacked and assaulted on the bus the other night in Haney. Interrupted. And then he called me a name. He called me that. Beat him up. Yeah, I don't think it was accidental. I really don't. Because there's a lot of people in this country have vested interest in, or stupid false sentiments about, oh, Americans are terrible. We're the best people in the world. How could you say that? Oh, I can say it pretty easy after the things that have happened here lately. And they've been going on all the time. There was that guy who got beaten up in Siksika, Alberta. Why? Why? Don't everybody tell you that we're not as better, that we're not as bad as the United States. No, we just have a slicker media. I'm sick of it. So anyways, I got to end this because I just wanted to say, sovereignty or statehood, that's my new bet. Sovereignty, then statehood. There's no war about it at all. Because we need the U.S. protection to do it. And why don't we improve America by changing the railway, the rainbow people of British Columbia into the Rainbow Republic of the United States, and forget this two nations, and we'll think about the natives sometime when we get around to it bullshit. And the indigenous nations, or the new nations rather, like my own and my Sikh friends, I'm mixed blood myself. And many people, we're not all English and French. And this old Central Canada bullshit. I'm tired of the colony of Canada that we are. I'm tired of the Dominion of Canada. I want to be part of the free union of the United States. I do think we should now finally admit to manifest destiny. I recognize that the Monroe Doctrine says, no, we really got to, the China thing with the pipeline, it's not going to happen. And it's not going to happen because Washington State, meaning the U.S. military in Puget Sound also, who do you think has the governor's ear? Not just the White House. Hey, look, we can't put up with these dickheads wanting to do this. It's going to triple our rates. And, you know, look what they're going through. They're going to kill the orcas, and we got other strategic issues, including that 5G network. We don't want it on Vancouver Island, the Lower Mainland. Are you kidding? Oh, man, you Canadians are stupid. And I'm using Canadians for everybody the other side of the Rockies until the people on the other side of the Rockies, as far as the lakes, wisen up. Canada only means Ontario and Quebec. It should be only a lower Ontario and lower Quebec, not the imperial territories to the north. The Great Cree Nation and Gava, all the other Dana and Day, all the other First Nation nations should be on the map already, including the Haudenosaunee and the Six Nations. And what do we do with Kanesatake and the Haudenosaunee, which is one of the Six Nations, actually, the Mohawks? The Iroquois Confederacy, that was a signatory to the Treaty of the Song of Savannah, was on the map until it was wiped out in Lord Durham's report. What are we going to do? We crushed it. And we seized the media and shut it down. It's all been blocked out. I'm in trouble for just talking about this. You see, this is the kind of country we are. I'm going to have people spit on me if I was around the city. How dare you? How dare you say anything bad about Canada? How dare you? How dare you? Here, I'm going to whack the mole. Here's a tall poppy. Let me cut him off. Okay, fine, I'll go into exile if I have to, but I just had to speak up. I'm sick of it. Okay, I've said my piece. It's cold out there. Anyways, I just had to get a short one off, and I didn't. So it's already up there. Anyways, people, if you're Canadian, have a good think what I'm doing. If you're in Washington State, or if you're Governor Inslee watching this, do it, sir. I realize what's going on. You got to play a diplomatic poker game, but Mr. Trudeau and Mr. Notley, they have not clued in. And Jason Kenney, really? Jason Kenney, do you really think you can take on the U.S. military? Huh? Over sovereign lands where you have no right to be doing what you're threatening to do? This is what Albertans think, that the world should fall flat on their face because they've been spoiled for so long, profligate, not wise in their spending, not wise in who they let own it, and investing in tar sands when there's no path to market. I'm sorry, which business school did you go to? Who approved that business plan? Well, it's just not a good business plan. And actually, Pierre Senior said, "Well, I'll let you study it because you're getting pressure on it, but I don't think we should ever deal with it." Of course not. It's one of the world's greatest wetlands, or was. But anyway, it doesn't matter. There's other things happening that will just end the fossil fuel economy damn quick. We can still be viewing hewers of wood and drawers of water and burners of oil when the rest of the world has moved into the future. It doesn't matter because we'll all be burning firewood sooner when, never mind. Electricity won't work in a few years. Now, if you don't know about that, oh, yeah, you should. But you're not being told about anything because you're too busy watching sports and worrying about meaningless things in the media. And I just saw a thing tonight. It was, what was it? Oh, yeah, it was in Burnaby. It was a manhunt. What the hell did they have an APC, an armored personnel carrier, going on for a manhunt? Was the guy armed with bazookas or something? In Burnaby, suburban Burnaby. What? What is an APC doing here? They use those in Yemen. They use those in Mali. Is this what we're doing? We're getting like the United States and bringing up the heavy artillery against our own citizens? That's it. When are you going to bring in the artillery? It was going to be like Sarajevo soon? Is that what you're thinking, Mr. Trudeau? You're going to pull him a little Shavich out here? Probably. I don't know. It's hard to read an Eastern anymore to know what's up. I know what your father did. I know what Harper was prepared to do. These are my reading lessons. Non, 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 non plus en Canada. Je ne suis pas encore Canadien. Non, 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 pas en plus. Je suis un Colombien, mais je suis Colombien libre. I'm a Colombian, but I'm not a British Colombian. I'm a free Colombian, is what I was saying. A Cordilleran. And we call it the Pacific Slope, so Pacific is a good name. You know, we have to also, you know, think about native nations. Say, hey, jobs. Oh, jobs will come from building I-5 and the train all the way to Alaska, won't they? Or I-15 up the trench, I-25 through Alberta. You hearing me, folks? What the hell do we need Ottawa for? What the hell do we need Ottawa for, except if we like drinking bullshit every other week? I'm done. But I'm so done with Canada now. I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed of what it's become. And what we were told it was, Bobby Jimmy song. But, you know, you don't remember the halcyon days of the centennial, his father riding on the glory of what a great country it was. Well, it wasn't then. It's worse now. But we're not peacekeepers anymore. And the bullshit of the shipping companies, CPR especially, Canada Steamships also, Martin's company, the corporate sleaze. Why is the head of Raytheon, that's the revolving door of the federal cabinet? Harper cabinet might have been the Toronto boardroom. Same is true of Trudeau's. Same was true of Chrétien's, all the way down the line. The mix between the corporate and the political in Canada has got to end. Citizens' assemblies, no lawyers, no journalists, no, or that kind, hack journalists, you know, the ones that work for they're basically lobbyists. No lobbyists, no politicians, no bankers, no lawyers in the deliberation of a new assembly. And I suggest we have a long, hard look at the Gilets Jaunes manifesto and forget about the Canadian Yellow Jackets. They're just, people go, oh, George Soros paid for this, George Soros paid for that. Oh, we don't care if Reichman paid for it or who else is paying for it. I don't know. Coke is paying for all that. But no, they're just being deluded by the media like good little media monkeys. Anyway, I'm done. Hello, good night. I'm Mike Clevin. I was going by Skookum1, Big Skookum. That's the name of my blog. I've been using, might as well keep on using Skookum1, but it's also kind of my personal musical name also. How I am a loyal, true person from the Skookumilly, Tillicum, Corpus Skookumilly, from the land where Skookum is said is big, strong land. I will not call it British Columbia again, as every time I can, unless I'm trying to clarify it for someone abroad. Free Columbia, the Coeur d'Alene Alliance, Pacifica. Those are my names. Cascadia, I don't like it. But I guess used. I don't know. Whatever people want. But everywhere was allowed to call it something else. But from here, from the 49th parallel on the tip of Vancouver Island to the Beaufort Sea and the road between Dawson and Fairbanks and to the Kelowna ice fields into Alaska, why not? And the Americans have to come north in a few years anyway. So why don't we just make it easier, not have a stampede and get all run over in the process? Anyway, that's a separate issue. But I finally said something here. I've got it out online where I wanted to get it. We get more visibility on YouTube. Facebook limits how many people get to see what I do, what I say. Facebook needs to go or gets liberated so that we have the rights to see as many people. We pay so much money to see more people, you don't get to choose who you see. Oh, shove it, Zuckerberg. Shove it. Just shove it. I see one of my posts got taken down. Well, it's going to be reviewed now. Will you even tell me which one it was so I can know what you... What? Who are you to make that decision? You had a little robot make that decision? Who programmed that robot? Some twat? Like the ones in Wikipedia? Oh, yeah. Hi, Maggie Dennis. Yeah, Moonwind girl. Yeah, you can ride that moon a little more now. Must be warm down there. And I don't know, is it Moon or was that the woman in Ireland? And they're complaining about men being bullies. And guess what? I was bullied on Wikipedia by, a woman. Yeah, so the hypocrisy in the world just nauseates people of my age. Doesn't work. Well, pretentious. Well, we don't like your tone. Is their way of saying we don't like what you're saying. We don't like the way that you're pointing out what a bunch of bullshitters we are. So that's my reply to them in Wikipedia. A certain thing as to why I'm blocked there. I don't care. It's a useless place. I could get more on mileage here, same as a journalist. Well, you have to learn to talk to journalists. Why should I do that when I can talk to people? So that's what I do now. Right now I'm talking to both the governors. Hey, Mr. Horgan, how do you like my words about you, hey, sir? And Monsieur Trudeau. Oh, Monsieur Trudeau. Oh, yes, he's such a nice guy, isn't he? Isn't he cute? And no, isn't he sensitive and soft and sweet? No, he's not. Anyways, good night.